What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I've got another PALANTIR update for you. We're going to go over this significant bank downgrade that PALANTIR just received, and we're going to go over all of the reasons why I just do not care at all that this bank downgraded PALANTIR, especially with the events coming up in PALANTIR's near future, and another significant price target raise at another institution that I think is more viable for PALANTIR in the near future. So if you guys enjoy all this information that I provide you in this video, please go down and hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. It really helps me get this information out to as many people as possible, and you get to stay up to date on all of your favorite stocks and learn about a couple of new ones. So if we go over and take a look at the chart of PALANTIR, we can see that it had a pretty nice reversal from the low $23 mark all the way up into the $26 range. Now, I thought this rally was going to hold, especially because Alex Karp had a pretty good interview last week with the Washington Post. They kind of went over some of the basic things that PALANTIR has been doing. They're usually not one to really talk about specifics of their technology, but that's kind of also because PALANTIR's demo day is coming up in the near future, which is one of the events that we will talk about later in this video. So PALANTIR fell 2.6% today on the news of this downgrade and is now down about 0.51% after hours at the current time. So if we take a look at the specifics for this downgrade, so shares of PALANTIR Technologies were lower on Wednesday after analysts at Citi cut the software company to sell from neutral, citing concern about its valuation and growth prospects. So they weren't even bullish on this company really to begin with. They were kind of neutral, but the Citi analysts increased the price target while downgrading PALANTIR, which is kind of interesting. But the price target for PALANTIR for Citigroup right now is going to be $15 a share. Now, they specifically see a risk around the lapping of pandemic contracts, which have the potential to become headwinds in the second half of 2021 into 2022. So they think these contracts aren't going to be sustainable, and they're also more skeptical on the PALANTIR bull case in the commercial business, where there is optimism that PALANTIR's simplified new products can drive an inflection in customer growth. Here we see high levels of competition and the lack of investment by PALANTIR in the right areas limiting success. Now, PALANTIR has really been focusing on the different pandemic solutions that they can offer the government right now, and they kind of really hopped on all of that very quickly. So I think that PALANTIR will be able to really pivot and make their business model kind of fit the next big thing that is going on in the world. And right now, handling the pandemic is not the only thing that PALANTIR has been doing. Now, if we go over here, we can see that PALANTIR also received a pretty significant price upgrade from Jefferies. Now, this was a 70% increase in price target from the previous price target that Jefferies had for PALANTIR. So their new price target is $30 a share, and they're maintaining their buy rating. Now, the analysts said that they like the unique nature of the company's offering for high-end data analyst use cases. That's basically just what PALANTIR does. They offer very simple solutions to complex problems through data analytics and predictive analytics. Now, PALANTIR has a couple of very important events coming up in its near future, and that's kind of why I'm pretty bullish on PALANTIR going into these next couple of weeks. So the first one is going to be Demo Day. This is going to be on January 26th at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, this is going to serve as an event very similar to Neo Day. So basically what they're going to do is their product demos will include the Foundry, Gotham, and Apollo platforms. They're kind of just going to demonstrate how all of these products work, and they're going to cover examples of commercial and government work. Now, that's very important. I've said this in a couple of my other PALANTIR videos, but we've all seen the details of the contracts that PALANTIR has received from the different governments and what they're going to be using the PALANTIR software for in order to help handle the pandemic, but we have not seen the software in action and actually seen examples of what the governments are using the PALANTIR software for. So after this event, we're going to really get a good insight into the technology that PALANTIR is using and how advanced it is, if it is super advanced or it's just kind of like, it's kind of standard. Just in 2021 alone, PALANTIR has received 2 contracts from companies out in Japan. Now, these contracts are kind of going to be like some tester contracts. They're not very large contracts, so it you can draw the conclusion that they're kind of testing out Palantir's software, and if they're happy with the service that Palantir provides, the next contracts that come out of Japan could be very, very large contracts. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with these Japanese contracts throughout 2021. Now, Palantir also has their earnings date on February 11th. Now, what's important about their earnings date is not only are they going to be releasing their Q4 numbers, but 3 days after their earnings date, it's going to be about the 14th. So the earnings date is on February 11th. So the 14th or the 15th is when the share lockup period will be expiring. So essentially what that means is that all of the original investors, some of the CEO shares, the C-suite shares, and some high-level employee shares have been locked up, and they have not been able to sell any of their position as of yet. Now, that's really because the regulators don't really want on IPO day for there to be such a massive selling pressure for people to be dumping out their equity positions in the company, so the stock price would just shoot through the floor. So that's kind of in place to make sure that the companies can have a smooth IPO and a smooth kind of couple of months after, when there's not so much institutional selling or insider selling of the company. Now, Palantir has the backing of a pretty famous and very successful trading firm, and that is going to be Ark. So we can see over here that this is basically the buying behavior of Ark in Palantir shares over the last couple of months. So they started scaling in their position in October, and they absolutely massively ramped up their position size in November. And then we can see here that they've just been steadily buying more and more shares up until right now. So between January 11th and January 12th, they added about 25 to 30 thousand more shares of Palantir, and in total they have about a $30 to $40 million position in Palantir. Now, it's not an overwhelmingly large position, but seeing a company like Ark having confidence in Palantir to put a lot of money into the company is a good sign for investors. So we have those two events. We have Demo Day and we have earnings for Palantir coming up. So what I have done is I've gone over and I've bought two of these February 19th 30 strike calls. So if we look over here, these are priced at about $1.75 each. And if you look over here, I have two of them. What's interesting about these strikes is that they have a very unusually high open interest compared to the other strikes on the chain. So this is about a 35,000 open interest, and that basically means that 35,000 contracts are being held in people's brokerage accounts right now. You can also go over here and check out the volume. So the volume basically means that these are the amount of contracts that were traded throughout the day. And these $30 strikes have the most volume out of anything on the chain. So that's a pretty good sign. There's a lot of bullish sentiment in the options chain for Palantir. And hopefully we can get a little bit of a reversal throughout the end of the week and the run up into Demo Day and the earnings date. So that's going to be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed what I had for you in this one, please go down and hit the like button and hit the subscribe button and comment down below your thoughts if you're considering buying more on this small Palantir dip, or if you're looking to get into an options position for Demo Day and earnings.